Definitely glad I didn't do a little pull there. Woo! Yeah, I've tried to do this freaking video at least 6 or 7 times in the last 2 months. Anything and everything that could go wrong with trying to make this video about this new bike that I got has gone terrible. It's just been all screwed up. So, as you notice, this looks a little bit different than the ZH2 and definitely different from the Ninja 400. I finally bought an H2. And the funny story behind this bike is it was accidentally shipped to Wayne's. Accidentally shipped to Wayne's. Okay? I was in there talking and just BSing, looking at the H2SX and everything, and Jennifer, who you've seen in past videos, she no longer works there. She moved away to Maine and is having a blast up in Maine and everything. But yeah, she was like, hey, we got something back here. You want to look at it? And I was like, sure, yeah. She's like, I think you might like it. So we get back there, back in their warehouse and everything. She pulls the box top up, and it's this bike. Not, you know, not another ZH2. No, this exact freaking bike sitting in the crate, unassembled. She's like, I don't know if we're gonna have to send it back, what we're gonna have to do, but we weren't supposed to get it. And I was like, oh my God, you know, like I was sitting there taking photos of it and videos of it in the crate, and I was just like, oh. And I jokingly said, I'm gonna buy that. Not expecting to be able to buy it. Now, granted, the ZH2 runs about the same price as the ZX10R. So it's not a crazy, you know, it's not like the regular H2 where it's, you know, $29,000, $30,000 bike. And it's not the H2SX where, you know, you're in the mid-20s, depending on what trim level. And no, this, you know, around 17 or so MSRP, give or take. So, you know, fast forward to around January, I guess, maybe. The wife was like, I want the FZ. Actually, no, actually the Halloween ride. We were both supposed to go, our babysitter backed out. So I put her on the ZH2. She had ridden it a few times, but never for an extended amount of time. She was like, are you sure? I was like, yeah. You know, I think you're fine with the ZH2. It's, you know, not a crazy bike by any means. Even with it being tuned and, you know, the shorter throw throttle and blah, blah, blah. So she goes to meet up with everybody from where we were living, which was Waynesboro, to Stanton and Sheets to ride to Harrisonburg. She got to Stanton and Sheets and immediately texted me. She goes, you don't have a bike anymore. I suggest you start looking for a new bike. So I jokingly said, fine then, I'll buy the H2. She's like, haha, yeah, whatever. So this is where she messed up. She said, haha, yeah, go ahead. I doubt it. So by that time, this thing was sitting on the showroom floor. Or by a little bit after October, I think it was sitting on the showroom floor. So we I start looking at things and whatnot, and you know, we had the twins and stuff, and you know, we were doing pretty good on money and everything else. So we were like, okay, cool, I might actually be able to do this. So reach out to my credit union, who is amazing. Shout out to Augusta. Oh, the blow-off valve. Yes, that's one of my favorite mods that I did to this thing. So I start looking at everything, and I'm like, well, crap. You know, with our tax rebate and everything, because we both kept everything claimed as married, but used single rate, didn't claim the kids, nothing like that. It's too much of a hassle to change all that, really. I go, might actually be able to do this. Reach out to the credit union and say, hey, you know, I know, you know, I've got my car note still, but that's, you know, like on time, blah, blah, blah. You know, paid actually a little above. And Wayne's actually hooked me up so good that's ridiculous what I paid out the door for this. And I'm not going to disclose that price. Let's just say that I have a very cheap payment. But with the amount of tax returns that we got back with, I contacted the credit union again. I was like, hey, is there any way we could change this, actually? They were like, yeah, sure, we could. Wow, what were you thinking? I was like, why don't I just pay my car off? They're like, okay. I was like, yeah, I'll just pay my car off and then just put, you know, a couple thousand down on this, and I'll only have one payment. They're like, yeah, I don't see any reason we could do that. We couldn't do that. So went into Wayne's, told them, hey, I want to put a deposit down on it. And, you know, they're like, okay, cool. Handed them a debit card. They put a deposit. I put a deposit down on it. Wound up, thanks to all this messed up stuff from COVID, the IRS, and all this crazy stuff, and then having to claim dependents this year. You know, it took a month and a half to 2 months for me to get my taxes back, which that's fine. Wayne wasn't worried about it. They're like, the bike's not going anywhere. You know, me just being me, I'm like, crap, come on, guys. You know, like, this is ridiculous. So, finally get the money in. Take and go pay my car off. And then call the bank, say, hey, paid the car off. Let's get things moving on the H2. So, 12 hours later, they called me and said, hey, we got your check. Went and picked my check up. Went straight over to Wayne's while I was actually still at work. I was working like an interim job at the time. I'm no longer with the fire department. I actually work for a hospital now. Way better. I'm enjoying it a lot more, and that's really what matters. Might also maybe making a little bit more money. But anyway, went, dropped the check off. The next day I was off from work. They were threatening rain and everything else. Nope, didn't care. Got up early, had a friend drive over with me, and I picked the H2 up and rode it home. Now let's get to the second part of the story as to why I haven't posted a dang video in God knows how long. All right, so obviously winter hit right before the MT-03, or right after the MT-03 video, and I had a couple chances to get out and ride, but nothing substantial really. Nothing to where, you know, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna film today. You know, maybe I had the camera stuff with me, but didn't really film. So, first good ride of the year on this thing was a charity ride. Now, for some reason, none of my GoPros wanted to work that day. This one didn't, and I had my Hero 4. Actually, I think I just sold my Hero 4 to my buddy Domingo. And something to do with the SD card on this thing was just acting out. It wouldn't load, it wouldn't record, nothing. Now, I did have my 360 cam that I just bought. I was playing with that day, so I at least had that for some stuff. We got some, you know, I guess B-roll footage or whatever with that thing, and I was still kind of learning it, so I messed it up a lot and blah blah blah. So I just had some good little clips out of it that I threw up on TikTok, you know, stuff like that. Then, you know, then we found out, like, about, what was it, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe 4.5 weeks after I bought this, that our landlord was done renting, period. He was just going to give the house to his son, so his sons could live there rent-free. Kind of messed up. He did give us 30 days, barely, but he did give us 30 days. So, and he was a really chill guy. Just that kind of put a bad taste in my mouth. Whew, traction control on 1, full power mode. Now, I'm not going to do anything too crazy on this thing here. Traction control is nuts on this thing, man. This bike is absolutely ridiculous. So full power mode, traction control on 1. You saw it pick up and set right down. Second gear. Woo! This bike is no freaking joke. Is it everything I thought it would be? Yes. Is it more than I thought it would be? Oh God, yes. It really is. Like, the first day I had it, I rode it down to the firehouse in the rain. I put it in rain, low power mode, traction control all the way up on 3. And it's felt safer than the Ninja 400. It was dumb. And the crazy thing about it is how gentle the power comes on. Like, now you snap it wide open, yes, shit's gonna happen. But, you know, like, if you just need to, you have to be careful with the right wrist a little bit, but I mean, you can just roll on the power and 5th gear, just. And of course the blow-off valve. With the Turbo Smart blow-off valve, you still get that chirp in the higher RPMs. Now, I know some people complained about, you know, Cowie going with the lower Brembo calipers in the front and the Nissan rear. Well, I can kind of understand the Nissan rear. This was a budget H2 essentially. Hey guys. But the Brembo brakes in the front are ridiculous. I mean, now I haven't ridden like an S1000RR or the regular H2 or even the H2SX. I haven't ridden one of those, so I don't know how it compares to that. All I know is that if you need to stop, it's got plenty of friggin' power to stop, and it's just as happy cruising along the highway at whatever the speed limit is to. It's just as happy doing that as it is ripping. My true complaint is in the rear shock. It's just, there's only rebound dampening, or there's only rebound adjustment. There's no compression to it, and you can't really get in there to like loosen the rear shock some, like just take some preload out of it. And when I first got it, the first couple times I was under hard braking, or if I would get down on it, it almost kind of pogo, like squat and bounce, and it would cause you to go everywhere, and it was really weird. So I backed a lot of rebound off of it, thanks to Dave Moss tuning videos. And then I'm still sorting out the front end, but it's not a huge deal. It's not terrible in the front. It's not as stiff as it was, and that's what matters. The only funny thing is I literally bought a bike that's the worst bike possible for when gas prices rise. So yeah, this is, you know, the first video I've gotten to actually make on this thing. And I mean, as far as mods go, what I've done to it, I didn't do any videoing of installing anything on it. But it's got the Extreme Creations Turbo Smart blow-off valve. That's why when I let off, you just hear it shh. It just, well, you can't really hear air. I'll downshift real quick. So that Extreme Creations hooked me up with this little boost gauge. They've only got an analog one available for it right now. I might do a video on the install of the boost gauge and blow-off valve just for other people, just that are, there's not a lot of information out on these bikes yet. From the intro video, you will see that I've tinted the headlights. I always do that with every bike for some reason. I don't know, I just like that look. As far as frame protection goes, I did the top-notch racing frame sliders. They connected 2 different points, and I feel like they're probably the highest quality ones that you can get for the bike. What else? Sprint air filter, power commander, and then what are you doing, guys? Slow the fuck down. Then the hot bodies slip on. So not much done to, oh, also the TST smoke taillights, since that's kind of my thing. Then the fender eliminator from gonna slow down here for a quick second. Let this jackass pass me. He's riding my ass. She's a little beast, man. So I'm definitely happy that I chose this bike. I feel like it's a good all-around bike. You know, it can't make the stupid crazy horsepower that the regular H2 can make. It's roughly the same engine as, I think it actually is the same engine as the H2SX. But it's not, the final drive is a little bit lower if I recall correctly, so it accelerates quicker, but it tops out sooner. But yep, if you made it this far through the video, don't forget to click that like button, click that subscribe button, click the little bell, because I'm going to be trying to upload more now that we're settled into everything and we got some H2 content. So until then, later. For reference, this is what I was talking about my driveway. Like, it's legit interesting to ride down on the H2. Now the FZ I can just kind of treat it like a dirt bike a little bit, or a motard. This thing's a little heavier. So you just gotta watch for the big rocks. Watch for the big rocks. Watch for the puddles. The speed bump. I think the wife and I should get a dirt bike for out here. That would be freaking legit. She's all for it, actually.